Welcome to Management. My name is Mirka Kahingunga and I am your tutor for today. On the front page there are my contact details, my cell phone number, as well as my email address. Management, the definition of management. Now, in different organizations, you get different types of management, and management is usually there just to direct subordinate staff, as well as just to make sure that, that the organization is streamlined and is moving in line with the vision and the mission of the organization. Management. Management is regarded as the process of planning, organizing, leading, and controlling the resources of an organization to achieve organizational goals as productively as possible. Management is the means of getting things done through people. Organizations' goals can only be reached by getting others to perform the tasks rather than managers performing the tasks themselves. So it's the controlling of the others, or rather making it, instead of rather using the word of controlling, but rather, managing a company or managing staff so that they can perform. There are two types of management approaches. There's the classical approach as well as the contemporary approach. We're going to start off with the classical approach. This approach to management can be distinguished by scientific management, which focuses on ways to improve the performance of individual workers in order to improve productivity. It's also distinguished by bureaucracy, which is based on legal authority given to managers to enforce the laws by virtue of their position, and also administrative management. Looking at contemporary approaches, it consists out of the following: human resources or human relations, quantitative management, and system theory. By human relations, we mean a productive worker is a happy worker, meaning that if the worker is productive, then they are also happy. Quantitative management, it is all about crunching the numbers. If you cannot measure it, you cannot manage it. So when it comes to quantitative management, it's more management in terms of numbers. Systems theory it views an organization as a group of interrelated parts with a single purpose. The contingency theory, it calls for managers to be flexible and to adapt to the situation at hand. And then we also have that which we call TQM, which is total quality management, which I'm just going to mention two of, which is the learning organization. It calls for lifelong learning, and re-engineering assumes that the current process is irrelevant, it is broken, forget it, and start all over again, meaning that it assumes that a process that is at hand is irrelevant and that it is broken and that we should just forget it and start all over again. That is re-engineering. There are four management functions which are termed OPLC. O stands for organizing, P is for planning, L is for leading, and C is for controlling. Organizing. That's when managers coordinate human resources with other resources in order to achieve the organization's goals. Planning. When managers formulate goals and objectives and develop strategies to the goals and objectives. Then leading. That's when managers influence, encourage, and direct their subordinates in order to get the work done. Controlling ensures that the goals of an organization are achieved. So then those are the four important management functions. And you'll actually see that within organizations, most managers run by these four functions, or they ensure that these four functions are carried out. Planning. There are three kinds of organizational plans. The first one we're going to start with is strategic plans, which is mainly implemented by top managers. Strategic plans involves creating a vision for the future of the organization, and it usually includes the top managers. It's translating the vision into a mission statement, translating the mission statement into long-term goals, and choosing a strategy to attain long-term goals. That is strategic planning. Tactical plans or tactical planning is mainly followed out by middle management. It deals with people and action to implement the strategic plans. And remember the strategic plans that were implemented by top management. The function areas are marketing, finance, operations, human resources, purchasing, research and development. Choosing a strategy to attain short-term goals. So with tactical plans, the management looks at short-term goals, while as in the first stance where we looked at strategic planning, it looks more towards the long-term goals. Operational plans. Operational plans are usually plans at lower level management. It's developed by middle level management, and they also have a very short time horizon, which is monthly, weekly, and day-to-day. A project plan. A project plan guides each project and states the scope of the project, the risk, time cost, and quality issues relating to the project. There are 8 steps in the planning process. The first step that we look at is number 1, identify changes that necessitates planning. These are changes that occur outside an organization or within an organization in line with the erratic movement. Now, erratic means just changing environment. It's actually changing. The word erratic just means changing, so in line with the changing environment. Number 2, establishing goals. These goals are formulated to give the plan a direction. Because once you have a plan in place, or once you have your goals in place, then you can plan so that you can reach those goals. So then this is the part of establishing the goals. These goals form a hierarchy. The hierarchy now looks as follows. We have the vision at the top, then we have the mission, and then we have the company's mission statement. Drawing up premises. This involves agreeing on planning assumptions and premises. The consistent premises are then agreed upon, shared with other managers to ensure that the organization bases its plans on the same premises. Number 4, developing various courses of action. For every plan, there should be alternatives. So meaning that for every plan, there should be an alternative course of action. Number 5, evaluating different courses of action. Consider which alternatives are most visible in terms of the organization's goals. That's what it involves. Number 6, the 6th step is selecting a course of action. It could be one course of action to be followed or several courses of action to be followed. Number 7 is formulating supportive plans, plans to retain workers in the new system and process. That's an example of it. And number 8, developing budgets. This is the conversion of the plan into budget to ensure that they have the resources available to carry out the plans to achieve the goals. And budget also refers to the money that's spent or that's allocated in order for us to attain, or in order for an organization to achieve its goals. The organization process, it involves middle management, the allocation of resources in a department, and also the design of departmental structures. Obtaining information about the tactical objectives and tasks. Okay. For example, a tactical objective for an IT department might be to improve the service delivery to all departments in the organization. The task of IT could be to help users with daily technical assistance to ensure that they perform their duties effectively and efficiently. To divide activities into meaningful units. This refers to grouping of the organization's activities in order to achieve desired targets. This is known as departmentalization. Business functions are also divided up into different sections or segments or different units in an organization. For example, an organization can have a treasury department, a corporate department, a human resources department, and a financial accounting department. And all these departments work hand in hand. Delegating tasks, authority, and responsibility. Delegation takes place when a treasurer assigns the company's senior economist and researcher a research task and gives him or her the authority and responsibility to carry out the task. That is just an example of delegating a task. Designing an organizational structure and giving feedback. The organizational structure is the result of organizing process and shows what each position's work is and what is expected. For example, a treasurer can divide the treasury department into the following sub-segments, which is the front office, which is the dealing, then the middle office, which is more focusing on reporting, and then there's custodial services, as well as the back office, which has more of a support function. As you can see, the feedback is done in the middle office. Motivation. Motivation is a factor that directly affects employees' performance. Motivation is an inner desire to satisfy an unsatisfied need. We all need motivation in our lives. Motivation is needed for us to go forward. So as motivation is important in your personal life, so is it also important within an organization. The motivation process involves a need. It involves to motivate. It involves behavior, consequences, satisfaction, and dissatisfaction. The whole process involves those 5 characteristics. Now, there is a formula that is formulated to measure performance, which we have there. We say it's ability times the ability and the opportunity, which is equal to the performance. So meaning that you need to have an ability times the opportunity in order to perform. Because you cannot perform without an ability and also without an opportunity, like that formula that we have in there. Now, I have a question. I only have one question for this specific module of management, and that is around the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The first question, A, is what is the Maslow theory about? And B, how does it relate to needs? Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now, on the slide, you can see that there are 5 stages of this hierarchy of needs. Now, we're going to look at question A. It asks us, what is the Maslow theory about? Okay. Now, Maslow's hierarchy of needs shows the order of human needs, as can be seen on the slide. Lower level needs are physiological and security needs, which are more around safety. Now, with the same time as well, we're going to go and straight ahead and answer question number B. Because what is the theory all about? As we said already, it shows the order of the human needs, and that it shows the lower level needs as well as the extrinsic rewards which are now the safety needs. These are the safety needs. But then we're going to go on and answer question B, which is how does it relate to the needs? How does this whole hierarchy relate to the organization's needs, which are also, because remember, as an individual also has needs, so does the organization also has needs. Now, the psychological needs means that it's just normal needs like the need of food, water, shelter, and other bodily needs, that helps an individual relieve them of pain. These needs in an organization are salaries, like when we start at the psychological, are salaries, wages, and basic working conditions. Once these needs are satisfied, they no longer influence the behavior. So you'll find that sometimes within an organization, because the psychological needs are not satisfied, then it means that performance is not carried out accordingly. It actually results in a poor performance. But it's just because it could be that workers are not being paid accordingly, and hence they start complaining because they cannot even meet their psychological needs, like they cannot even afford to pay for their water bills and all. So as I said, when we look at the physiological needs, we look at salaries, wages, and basic working conditions. So meaning that working conditions need to be in place in order for the workers to achieve the goals and the vision and the mission of the organization. Secondly, we're going to look at safety and security. Safety and security refers to the needs of freedom, which is what? Freedom from threat. Security in a workforce or a workplace is very important. Job security is also important. Insurance, it involves insurance, medical aid schemes, and pension schemes. But then when we look at the safety of the Maslow's hierarchy, or looking at an individual, it looks at security of body, of employment, of resources, of morality, of the family, of health, and of property. Meaning that the individual that's working within the organization, do they feel safe? This is actually quite a big factor when it comes to the mining industry. For example, the safety needs of workers working in a mine, a gold mine, an underground mine. Of course, there will be certain safety procedures put in place, but then management needs to ensure that these safety needs have been met. We're going to go on to the third level of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is love and belonging. As you can see on our slide, it refers to friendship, family, and intimacy. The need for friendship, interaction, love, acceptance, and belongingness. This is to satisfy the social need, meaning that within an organization, there is also a social need. By forming groups and teams, it encourages interaction amongst employees, which ensures that social needs are met. By this, it could be social love and belonging can also be experienced through team building, for example. That's why we see that within an organization will plan for a team building. Now, what happens in the team building is that it allows individuals to interact. Now, just imagine working in an organization where you are not allowed to interact, how frustrating it would be. Imagine coming and stepping into the organization, not even saying good morning, how are you? Imagine how horrible it would be. So it is also management's responsibility to make sure that individuals within the organization or employees feel a sense of belonging. By interaction, it is also through interaction where management can find out, whether there's any underlying issues that need to be addressed or any other underlying needs that have not been satisfied. You'll also find that in some organizations, they also have the wellness. They have a wellness unit. Now, this wellness unit just ensures that the needs of the employees are met, that that they are stress-free, and they also provide a means of, like how do they manage stress. As much as that also touches a bit on the safety, because remember, in safety, we touched a bit on medical aid and all, that employees, it's also important that employees have medical aid. But then at the same time as well, there's also other factors, like the source of, like, for example, the function of love and belonging, that are also important within an organization, because when an individual feels loved and they feel that they belong within the organization, then they are able to perform well. Esteem and needs, which is number 4. This is the need of respect and recognition by others. If we look on our side, we'll see that esteem refers to self-esteem, confidence, achievement, respect of others, and respect by others. So esteem needs, this is the need for respect and recognition by others. The needs for success, attention, and appreciation. By esteem, we mean it's actually a need of an individual within the organization that needs to be met, and management need to ensure that that esteem is carried out and is met. By esteem, we mean that employees need to feel that they are respected by others. They are respected by management, they are respected by the organization, and that that they are rewarded for their success. So needs of employees can be met by rewarding high achievement with recognition. You'll find, for example, in some organizations, let's say if they've struck a very good deal or they have performed outstandingly well, then what happens is that they are recognized by their line managers. At the end of the year, they have, let's say, it's just like a prize giving or an award session where individuals within the organization are recognized for their hard work, recognized for achieving the goals that have been set in place by the organization or by the shareholders. So when we look at esteem, we look at self-esteem, confidence, achievement, respect of others, and respect by others, meaning that an individual within the organization should feel that they are respected. They are respected by others as well as respected by management, because where there is respect, then naturally there will also be performance. Then we're going to look at the last point, which is self-actualization. Self-actualization refers to the full development of an individual's potential. On the slide, it refers to morality, creativity, spontaneity, problem solving, lack of prejudice, acceptance of facts. By self-actualization, it refers to the full development of an individual's potential. The need for self-actualization is the most different. It's actually the most difficult, to satisfy. Managers can help by creating a climate whereby self-actualization is possible, providing employees with the skills of development. By self-actualization, it also means that management also has the responsibility to ensure that within the organization they spot out creativity and as well as potential, because you'll find that within an organization we're all different people. There are different people with all different types of skills and different levels of creativity. So what management does is that they identify the strong points or the strengths of these specific individuals, and then they try to develop them accordingly, and also try to, if one individual's strength is in sales, then what management does is that they identify this skill, and then they improve it by sending the individual on training, or just helping out the individual, just giving the individual more information, sending them on training, getting them involved in that specific skills area so that they can sharpen up on these skills. According to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, a satisfied needs a satisfied need ceases to motivate. When one decides that they are earning enough pay for their contribution to the organization, money loses its power to motivate. Therefore, if a manager wants to motivate an employee, the manager needs to understand what level of hierarchy the person is in and focus on satisfying these needs. So now we have come to the end of the management presentation. And what I just want to, a word that I would just like to leave to you is that management, as well as, we're dealing specifically with management within an organization, it is also important that you also learn to manage your own life by means of planning, like the planning process that we have in place here, and also making sure that each and every level of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs within your own life are satisfied. So good luck. I wish you all the best for your exams, and please feel free to contact me on my telephone number should you have any questions on management. Thank you very much and good luck.